Now, despite another Fed meeting that raised the rates to 75 basis points, we're currently seeing the 30-year fixed rate mortgage drop to below 5%. So what does this mean? Is the interest rate going to continue to fall? And should you wait for this to happen before buying? And what about home prices? Are home prices depreciating? We're going to find this out today, so please stay tuned. Hi, welcome to August 2022 monthly housing market report. So without any delay, let's kick off today with the topic on interest rate. I think by now we can all agree that this year is really defined by the rising mortgage rates. This graph represents the 30-year fixed mortgage rate since the beginning of the year presented by Freddie Mac. And as you can see, the rates have been rapidly escalating and was at the highest point around the end of June, but the latest data shows that the rates have come down to 4.99%. However, we're seeing a lot of volatility in the rates. Now, of course, this is due to what Federal Reserve is doing to ease inflation. The biggest threat to long-term interest rate is inflation, and to remedy this, the Fed has raised the federal funds rate by 75 basis points twice. This doesn't dictate mortgage rates, but it does affect it. Okay, so where's the mortgage rate expected to go? Is it expected to go up or down? Well, if you look at this latest projections by the 4 experts released in July, they have presented their projections for each quarter till third quarter next year. And if you look at the average of all 4 on the right column for each quarter, you can see that the rates will be hovering about where we are now. Maybe a little more stable next year, but overall, we're not expected to see much lower rates in the future. Now, let's move on to home prices. I want to delve deep into this today since this is still the hottest topic in the housing market. And I want to start with this graph. This represents the latest data on home builder cancellation rate, meaning how many buyers decided to terminate their purchase agreement before waiting for their homes to be built. And going back to August 2018, we've had the highest cancellation rate on April 2020, and similar cancellation rate happened recently in June. And as you might have guessed, April 2020 was when we had the pandemic lockdown, and this was when we had the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression. And we were hearing from the news that we are going to repeat 2008 or maybe even the Great Depression. And fearing all this is inevitable, over 16% of people that had purchase agreement for new construction decided to terminate their contract. But what happened right after? Our economy had a V-shaped recovery, and we've had over 26% home price appreciation across the country in 2020 and 2021. Do you think those people regret their decision? Oh yes, big time. So how about now? There was 14.5% cancellation. Well, next few graphs will answer this question. If you look at this graph from my last month's market report, I said the average home price forecast of 7 top experts in the housing market was 8.5%. Well, they made their forecast again recently, and it's been changed. Now, combined average, they're expecting about 10.3% home price appreciation this year, even higher than the last month's projection. And this latest data graph on existing home sales, seasonally adjusted annual rate, you can see that we're expected to sell 5.1 million homes this year if we go on the pace the homes are selling right now. This has been lower since the last month's data at 5.4%, but nonetheless, it's still a lot of sales and the numbers are similar to times prior to the pandemic. And we need to keep in mind that 2017 to 2019 were considered one of the best years in the housing market. Now, all this data is our national average. But there are certain pocket regions in the country that we may see home price depreciation. Because this is what Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's Analytics, said. I don't think national housing prices will decline in a meaningful way, but there will be some price declines across the country. Okay, so I'm not too surprised by that statement, but is that going to happen here in our state of Georgia? Is it possible that we're going to see price depreciation here? What I'm about to show you is very important and useful in answering that question. I've selected several locations in North Georgia to see what's happening in their housing market as of August 11th. So let's start with the city of Suwannee. Currently, there are 216 active listings, meaning 216 homes available for sale. And aside from this, there are 164 listings that are under contract and waiting to close. and the closed listings indicate that there were a total of 106 listings that were sold and closed within a month from July 11th to August 11th. And moving on, Duluth has 168 active listings, 101 pending listings, 67 closed listings. And Sugar Hill has 81 active listings, 46 pending listings, and 41 closed listings. Buford has 264 active listings, 145 pending listings, 107 closed listings. Flowery Branch has 109 active listings, 60 pending listings, and 67 closed listings. Brazelton and Hoschton has 187 active listings, 124 pending listings, and 96 closed listings. And Lawrenceville has 478 active listings, 342 pending listings, and 281 closed listings. And Johns Creek has 105 active listings, 62 pending listings, and 56 closed listings. And Alpharetta has 300 active listings, 243 pending listings, and 175 closed listings. And Cumming has 464 active listings, 317 pending listings, and 280 closed listings. And lastly, Atlanta has 2,264 active listings, 1,283 pending listings, and within a month, 914 closed listings. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at this data, does it look like home prices are going to depreciate in any of these places? Numbers indicate facts. And as you saw in the listing numbers, not only do we not have lots of inventory, but there are lots of homes that are going under contract and being sold right now. Quite the contrary to what the media is depicting in their news about the housing market, isn't it? Now, that's not an isolated incident to Georgia. This is currently happening all across the country. And as I've mentioned before, due to lack of supply and high demand, this is putting that upward pressure on prices. And as the interest rate becomes less volatile and we see more stability in the economy, we'll see even more buyer activity in the market. This is what Joel Kahn, economist at MBA, said in the recent CNBC interview. There could be a potential silver lining for the market as stabilizing mortgage rates and rising inventory may bring some buyers back to the market during the second half of the year. It's becoming even more clear as time progresses that the home prices are not going to depreciate but will continue to go up. If you're thinking of selling, I suggest you put your home for sale before more inventories come into the market, and if you're a buyer, I suggest you start looking for that home, because more buyers are about to re-enter the market. If you found my content helpful, please press like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'll see you again next month with more valuable up-to-date information. Goodbye.